Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cheerleaders, welcome to an episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my partner Anthony. This is a Judo podcast for Judo players by two Judo players. So Anthony, how you doing? Right before you go to Japan, you get ready for your trip.
I'm sick again. Yeah, I'm not feeling too well. So we're going to try to knock this episode out. Hopefully it doesn't go on too long because I'm struggling a little bit. But this is like the fourth or fifth time I got sick within the last 4 months, I think. So
I think you're dying, man.
I blame it on the kids, honestly. But no, to be honest, I've been working a lot. I haven't had time to train. So training has been like a stress relief for me. So I haven't had that outlet the last couple of weeks, and I'm just lacking sleep. So
you're doing all this extra work because you're trying to have work. You cannot do your work outside the US. So while you're on vacation for 2 weeks, you can't work at all. So you're trying to cut down on what you get back, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I've been staying up late. I teach the classes, then I come home and I work late, and then I go to bed. And it's just, I guess it all added up. But I've been getting sick very often. So I need this vacation. Hopefully it goes away because I'm leaving in 6 days. Today is Sunday. I'm leaving on Saturday.
You're leaving the day after this podcast goes out, pretty much.
Yeah, basically the day after this podcast goes out. So hopefully I will feel better by then. But start off with a sore throat. Now I'm just like congested. You can probably hear it in my voice and coughing and everything. So yeah,
great. You're gonna be fun on a plane with. Tell you that much. Oh, it's that guy. The tall guy's coughing the entire time. All right. So let's get some little bit of judo news. Like I said, we want to get this knocked out because Anthony's not feeling the best right now. So you might remember a while ago, we had a guest, Liana Mutia.
Yep.
Mutia. I can never say that name right. I'm sorry. I'm always confused how to say her name. But we want to congratulate her because recently she's been competing for the US. She's part of the handicap blind. What would the division be called?
B1. Yeah, I think it's called B1, but they changed the division, so there's only like B1 and B2 now. They used to be B3, I think. We were talking about it at the interview. Yeah. But she's at I think 90% or more blind, light. Like just basically you can't see. She's in that fully blind division. Yeah. So
we want to congratulate her because she just took bronze at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I think by the time this comes out, it would have been a week ago, almost 2 weeks by the time this podcast comes out, whatever. But she's been doing really well. Before that, she took bronze at the Birmingham, UK not World Championships.
She took bronze at Worlds too, I'm pretty sure, didn't she? Yeah, she did really well there too. So she's doing great out there. Support her, go follow her, look at her stuff. It's really just showing that don't let nothing stop you. Even though she's blind, she has no sight, but she can still throw. Look at her match; she's throwing great, and she does some really cool demonstrational stuff too on her Instagram. So I'm very proud of her. Congratulations. Other things in recent news. So I want to be fair. Because we're part of Nanka, we congratulate Nanka and having over 700 at the last tournament. I want to congratulate the San Jose Grand Prix. That's the full name of it, right? San Jose. Is that what it was called?
Yeah. I didn't write it down.
You mean the San Francisco?
No. The San Jose Open, held by the Judo United, has 800 plus signed up already. And I've been advertising their stuff on our Instagram because they've asked us to. And if you ask me to help you guys out, I will help you out as much as I can, advertising on our platform to grow judo and help judo out. So I just want to congratulate them on that. Great job. I think this is their first time doing this tournament. So I'm just happy that San Jose, the Bay Area, is getting these huge tournaments turned out right now. So it doesn't matter if it was the East Bay Championships, the Bay Area Championships, or South Bay Championships, San Francisco Championships. I'm happy any championships happening out there. So the San Jose Open, congratulations on that. So I think there was one other thing we wanted to talk about that you're going to miss out on your trip to Japan that you're going to Japan for.
Yeah, so one of the places I wanted to visit was, one of the places I'm going to visit is Sendai, and that's where Akimoto trains jiu-jitsu, and I think he has a judo club there. He also has a restaurant, if I remember correctly.
Ooh.
So I was going to check it out, and then as I was laying in bed earlier, right before recording this podcast,
it was announced that Akimoto will have a seminar, clinic, training camp, seminar, whatever, at San Jose State, October 23rd, I guess. And I'm assuming he's not going to be there exactly on October 23rd. He's going to come earlier and travel and look at and tourism stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure while I'm there, he's not going to be there. So
he's going to go to Great America, Valley Fair. Does Valco still exist? I don't think so. He's going to go to Santana Row. Might go see the stadium in Santa Clara, maybe go for a 49er game. No, I'm just joking. I don't know what he's going to do out there, but that's all the tourist stuff you can do out there for the most part. Besides go visit San Francisco. So I'm sorry, Anthony, you're not going to go get to train with him, but you were talking anyways that you might not train at all on your trip this time. So we'll see.
I'm only planning to train one day because I have a friend invite me to train at his university club. Mm-hmm. So that's the only day I was going to train. And other days I was like, if it happens, it happens, you know? And I might go to Yokohama, the clubs I visited that only meets once a month. Mm-hmm. If timing works out, I might go then, but I find it unlikely. So this will be time for me to meet up with friends and everything.
Okay. Sounds fun. And you're going out there with your sisters, right?
For the first week, it'll be with my sisters, and the second week, it'll be by myself.
I don't trust you by yourself. I don't trust this man. Nope. I want daily blogs of where you're at. I want a photo every hour on the hour.
I'm going to try to post some stuff on Instagram because that's the main complaint a lot of people had was I wasn't posting enough. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't want to be that tourist because Japan's suffering right now from over tourism. So I don't want to be that annoying tourist that's like not paying attention while I'm walking and like taking on a bunch of space because I'm recording a selfie, like trying not to be that guy. So.
All right. So that's what's happened with us. Oh, and if you're wondering what's happening with his classes, while he's gone, guess who gets to teach the classes? I do. I'm going to teach some kids classes. I'm going to teach some intermediate classes and my own classes. So I'm going to be very booked with classes for the next 2 to 3 weeks. As long as he doesn't come back sick again.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get COVID. Well, I got my shot last week, so.
All right, so let's get to our main topic for today. So a few episodes ago, you heard us talking with Jonah about advertisement, creating stuff out there for your judo, for your dojo and stuff, and how to get your name out there, create more interest in judo. So Anthony recently has changed over our Hollywood Judo page from our old page to a new page. Now, our old page, people were saying is like, oh, it's that 90s, 2000s look where it's just one long page and stuff. And now it's cut up into other pages and stuff you can link into. I'm not super happy. I understand the changes. I understand. But to me now, it all looks the same. But Anthony, can you explain how this works out or how this worked for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a software engineer by trade, but that's software engineer doesn't mean you know how to be a website designer or graphics designer or what they call a user interface expert, right? But before I went to school for computer science, I actually wanted to be a web designer. So I did have some experience helping some nonprofits with their websites and stuff like that. I was actually going to go to art school, believe it or not. Yeah. But even though I have no talent in that department. But yeah, our old website was not bad per se by judo standards. For those of you who have been to hollywoodjudo.com before, an old website, it really wasn't bad. There was two main problems with the website. One is over the years we added more and more classes and more information, and then like we added like a private class section, and the way that the website was designed, it just didn't scale very well. So it was just a lot of information. This one, so you scroll like forever, right?
Yeah.
And also, if I wanted to find classes, the schedule, like I have to scroll through that whole thing, and there's a button at the top that kind of directs you to that page, but that's not ideal because depending on the monitor size you're using, or if you're on mobile, like on your cell phone, which is really common nowadays, then it might not turn out perfectly. So that's one major thing that a lot of people don't think about when they make the website is how does it look like on a mobile device?
Yeah, that's a big new thing now. Yeah,
that's called responsive design in web design. It's called responsive design because you want the website to adjust everything like shift everything around depending and be responsive according to the device that you're viewing it at. And I mean, you got to test it on multiple phones. Like it has to be on iPhone.
No, you don't. It works on my phone. It works great. If it's on my phone, it's fantastic. That's all I care about.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one huge part that we did not address. But so I built a new website mainly because we migrated to Gymdesk for our member management system. And we already are paying like $100 a month for that feature, right? For $100 a month for the Gymdesk web thing. And it comes with a website system. And with the website system, it comes along with like online signups and all that kind of stuff. So it just takes time to set it up. So I didn't want to have to take time to set up the workflows and stuff. There's still some effort involved, let's just say.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it, so I just left it. But then we've been getting a lot more people signing up recently. So I can't sign people up at the dojo while I'm running classes and everything. So it's just easier for us to set up the website and say, hey, go on our website and sign up online. And then I'll check my phone, see the email, they signed the waivers and everything, and they paid, and then you can step on the mat. So that was the major reason I redid the website, was because of that sign up option. And it saves the dojo like $150 a year, because we're paying for the website before, and then we're also paying for this. But
it's built into, this is one of the good things about Gymdesk, is that it's built into the cost of Gymdesk. It's not extra.
Exactly. So, I mean, the goal of this episode is not to like advertise Gymdesk or talk about how I redesigned our website as much. That's not the main focus. The main focus is I want to talk about what should a judo website be like? Like, what should you not do? And I mentioned it last week, right? It's not so much what should I put on my website, is what should I not put on my website. That's the biggest problem most people have.
It's always this one thing, like there's a thing in fashion, they say, it's like, once you get dressed, look yourself in the mirror and take one thing off, because less is more. And there's some websites out there, that some gyms that I go visit, place I've gone, and it's that old school 1-page format, and they have every single little thing they do listed on their entire judo history, the history of judo, the history of their instructor. And then like right at the bottom, like some small text in the middle, something like classes Tuesday and Thursdays from 6 to 7. Then it's more history, what we've been at, where we've gone to, and little stuff. So it becomes hard to look at. And as much as I like the individualism of everybody having their own little style and system, or the way it looks, it's not clean and it's not conducive to getting people to find what they're looking for exactly fast. And there's even sites where you go to that do have multiple pages, but when they have multiple pages, they'll have every little thing listed as well. You know, every day they're open, every day they close, every day. And I'm a little guilty of this sometimes, because as some people do or do not know, I manage the social media for Hollywood Judo. And when we first changed our hours, I was posting every day, each class, when we're open, when we're not open and stuff, to get it through people's thick skulls, our new schedule.
Yep.
And I've just recently stopped doing that, because I'm like, okay, we've been at this for like 6 months now. I hope they know the schedule. I post it once a week.
Yep.
And it's one of the things that people really should invest in a specific website for their dojo, so that people have somewhere to go directly. I know some people like to use, I use Facebook. I use Instagram as mine. I use, nowadays, I bet you probably people using TikTok as their main page. And those are good for extra advertisement, but you need a solid page, I believe, so people can go to and look at stuff directly. Because even on Facebook, I know a lot of people aren't interacting as they used to. But on there, sometimes it's hard to find open and closed days, how much things cost and stuff. They don't give you exact prices there at the description. And they want to look at, they have to shuffle through your stuff, look through your pages, go through all your posts to see like, okay, there it says what day they put an advertising up that day or something. So it's just about developing a nice, clean website people can look at nowadays, and not just like Anthony said, for your at-home computer, because a lot of people aren't using that now. Has to work on a tablet, has to work on an iPhone, has to work on an Android phone, and just finding a system that works for everything.
Yeah. So people got to understand, what is the purpose of the website in the first place, right? You have to think about that. Like, if you're going to upload like videos and stuff for your students, that's a different story. I'm not going to talk about that, but maybe we will at the end if we have time. But the main purpose of the website is someone who's looking to sign up for judo wants to know where you are, who's teaching it, how much it costs, and what does the facility look like. Right? Like,
yeah,
that's basically what they want to look for. And if you make those information really hard to find, not one, hard to find, or two, mixed in with a bunch of other stuff in it on the page, then it's not a good website. Like, people are going to start, one, it looks unprofessional. Two, people are going to daze off. Cause I'm looking at specifically for martial arts. If I'm not just looking for judo, if I'm looking for BJJ, comparing BJJ to karate, taekwondo, judo, then I'm looking at multiple websites. The one with the more professional looking, clear, concise information on giving me a feeling of what the training, sending my kid there or training there would feel like without actually me going there and knowing the schedule, then that's the one I'm probably going to pick most likely. Right. That's how I picked the 3 dojos I wanted to visit here, was based off the website, actually. I mentioned it was Sawtell, Hollywood, and Tenry. Those are the 3 I was looking at when I moved to LA. And these 3 had the best websites because at the time all the information was really easy to find. So yeah, that's number one thing. You got to make sure everything is easy to find. That if you don't do anything else, like literally, it doesn't have to look beautiful. It can literally be just like a black and white website. And then literally just text, no graphics. Just put down your address, when you're open, contact information, who's teaching it, and ideally some photos of the dojo. So the next thing would be, let's talk about the photos, right? We were just discussing this the other day. You don't want to take, it's kind of like selling a house. Like, if you ever sold a house, you don't want to take like shitty photos of the house and post it up online, and people are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to pay $1 million for that, you know? So you want to take nice professional photos that don't look overly photoshopped, if you know what I mean, but you probably want to touch it up a little bit. And one neat trick that a lot of places do is a black and white thing, right? Because it makes it look kind of like cool, and then it kind of.
We talk about black and white stuff, but what are you talking some shit, Anthony? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it makes it look cool. It kind of hides away a lot of the imperfections in the color or the camera quality, like the noise and stuff in low light. And
for our podcast listeners, I have a black and white image behind me all the time. I live in a film noir world. All right. So that's why.
Yeah. It's easy to put black and white with, like, to design around black and white because of the neutral tones. Right. So, consider using some black and white photos, but think of like I said, selling a house. How would you want someone to look at your dojo? If I look at the photo and the place looks like trash, like it's blood on the walls, the tatami, there's holes in it, and everyone on it looks messy. There's some guy lying around on the floor like he's like on vacation. Like, is that the vibe that you want the dojo to give out, right? There's nothing wrong with having pictures of people just laying around, right? Some jiu-jitsu clubs do that. But the pictures on the website, you want it to look good. And also the secondary thing is to give off a vibe of what the culture is like at the dojo. Like, whether it's like a super serious dojo or whether it's a super competitive dojo, whether it's like a friendly atmosphere where you're like hanging out, or is it casual? Like, if you think about the Kodokan, when you look at Kodokan photos, it gives off this really serious training atmosphere, right? Versus look up some jiu-jitsu club with like a beer keg, what do you call it? Beer keg, something like that, or like
keg in the background. Have you seen jiu-jitsu clubs with kegs in their photos?
Not in the photo, but I'm using it as an example. If they're using that, then that's another a vibe they give off, that they have fun after class. And then some places they share a community center, right? So then if you give off the community center vibe, it's like, oh, this is probably cheaper club judo and it's not like professional judo. Then you got to make it up elsewhere. Like, you got to make sure you're giving off the vibe that you want to give. And this is why a lot of people use a lot of kids photos in their class, because that's the vibe that they want to give off, is that they're a kids family friendly atmosphere. But definitely don't use like blurry photos. I see this all the time. Like people use like low resolution or super edited photos. Like super edited photos stand out really, really well a lot. So if you use too much what they call softening and motion blur and blurring, like it's really obvious that you edit it. So definitely don't use that.
No, I'm adding speed and texture. All right. Don't you credit mine.
Yep.
No, but it's funny you mentioned that, because it is true. You have to put up some good photos of your dojo. Like I know we have some really nice wide shots of our dojo trying to show how big it is, because a lot of places they hear that we're part of a community center and they think that we're, a small, tiny dojo, where we are a dedicated space. And you have to show that off, that I'm a dedicated space. We're not just pulling out the mats every week and stuff. And one of the things you and me have been discussing about with our new website is showing some of our amenities, like we're a dojo that has great parking for the most part. We have tons of parking, which a lot of dojos don't have. We have a locker room for men and women to go change at. We have showers in the ladies' locker room. We have showers in the men's locker room. We have separate bathrooms. It's not the locker room is the bathroom. No, we have bathrooms. We have locker rooms. We have showers. They're all separate. That's one thing you and I were talking about, like, well, we need to show that off more. We need to get some good photos. And that's something we're going to work on when you get back from Japan. We're going to work on that next.
Yeah. So don't show that stuff off if it's dirty. That's what I was going to say, right? If it looks like, it's like, I have showers, but then it looks like a prison shower, then I don't know if I would put that up on there, right?
Shower, no curtain. The water's just coming straight down on you. Not that I know or anything.
Yeah, so definitely there's that. But I don't want to go too deep into the photos. But yeah, definitely give off the vibe that you want to give. And if you have a really small dojo, then don't try to trick people into thinking it's big, like with the camera tricks. Because
you're gonna do a fisheye lens, all right. You're gonna do really wide shot, like you're gonna be in the corner of the building. You might want to do a bit of that, but don't like do camera tricks or mirrors and stuff like that to make it look way bigger than it's supposed to be. Like using a wide angle lens, a fisheye lens might help a little bit, but because ultimately they're going to find out. It's like telling a lie, right? They're going to come, they're going to find out, and then they're just going to leave. And you're wasting both catfished.
you're wasting both of your times, like talking to them, explaining to them, and when it's like not what they're looking for. But you do want to like exaggerate a little bit just so they walk through the door, and hopefully the personal atmosphere and the culture will get them to stay. But if you have a small dojo, you're going to have to demonstrate in the photos how you make it work, how you make the space work. Does that make sense? Like if you just show an empty space of the dojo, then it's like you'd have no sense of how this is going to, and I see like 4 tatami mats, right? And then it's like, how the hell am I going to do judo on that, right? But if you show some pictures of people throwing, moving around, doing newaza, then you can kind of be like, okay, I can see myself doing judo there. Like I can see myself fitting in there, and people they're actually taking turns. They're not having like 100 people on that small ass space at the same time. So you definitely want to show that off. Yep.
Yeah. So, I know one of the things that we talked about that we kind of glanced over, but to me, this is one of my big things when I go visit places or go look at dojos is a lot of places don't do this now. And I know they're doing this because they want you to get their contact information. They want you to go there. But to me, I like it. And I'm glad that we do this. We put our price up front on our website.
When that's you go the next thing I want to bring up. Definitely prices.
That's one thing that we put up there. Just you can see, you see our monthly fee, you see our auto fee, you see our mat fee. One of the cheapest mat fees in the area still. It's one of the cheapest mat fees anywhere. It's just $10. Okay. Only thing cheaper is if they like you and let you train for free. All right. But we put our stuff up there for you to see. We're not scared. We're not scared that you're going to see the price and then run away. And I notice what a lot of gyms do that because they're scared. Like, oh, well, if we put up that we're 60, 70 or $100, they might go somewhere else. And like, yeah, that's going to happen. I'd rather you get sticker shock here at the website than when you come to the dojo. Back to what I said, right? Yeah. Come to the dojo. You spend your time there talking to them. It's like, oh yeah, we train 3 days a week. It's $120, $120 for one style. But to some people, that's nothing. To other people, that's a lot. and I don't want to waste people's time with that. So to me, I like it when I visit a website and right there, it says the price.
Yeah. So for people like me, when I looked for BJJ clubs, I used to, how do you say it? I used to basically not look at places that don't list the prices because like you said, I don't want to waste everyone's time. And if they don't put the prices up, that just basically means they charge whatever they feel like.
Yeah.
Like they run specials. Yeah.
There's definitely that fear also that anyone can be charged anything, you know?
Well,
they
it's like sometimes like this 3 months, they're going to charge 120 if you sign up for a year, or like they're basically constantly changing the contract. It's pretty much guaranteed they're going to have a contract. That's if they don't list the price. It's guaranteed to have a contract, and they're changing the terms once in a while based off of how the affiliates work. So, but the way that this is the counter argument for some people that do this, right? It's kind of like how car salesperson, they'll not tell you the car price and try to get you in the door to try out the car first, because they want you to fall in love with the car and also feel like you already spent all this time invested into. It's called anchoring, basically. You already spent all this time invested into this car, and you might as well just buy it at that point. They
have your driver's license already. They had you sign something to drive it off to test drive it. Oh, I hated that. I had to literally juke and jive to get out of the place at one time. But that's another experience for another day.
But that works. That actually works for a lot of people, surprisingly. So, so when I refused to go to BJJ clubs like that, but when I was looking for a club, there was one club that I'm not going to name it, but it was someone in particular said, you have to go there. They're really good. So I went. They don't have the price. And then when I asked for the price, they're like, oh, just try a class first. So I tried the class, and then he told me the price afterwards and the contract. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not for me. And then I wasted my whole night basically there.
But you did get that elusive free trial though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And some dojos will list that they give you a one-time free trial and stuff. We don't do that at Hollywood. Sorry, we don't do that. Well, you got to pay to stay. You want to play, you got to pay. But
yeah, I understand the free trial thing. Like you don't have to offer it, but I used to train Wing Chun. I told you, and people would come. Like my Sifu would charge $20 for the first class, and then if you decide to join, that $20 goes towards the membership that you pay. But if you don't, then he just basically charges you $20 for wasting his time. So, because it's pretty annoying to teach beginners same thing over and over again, and for them to just quit right there. So you're taking up mat space, and then you're also taking up instructor's time. So it makes sense. But even at $20, like people were just paying it like nothing at the time, because that was when the Ip Man movie came out. So he doubled it to 40, and people were still paying it.
Wow.
So yeah.
$40 tryout. That's a lot. That's a bit.
Yeah.
20 I could see. 20 I'd be like, okay, 20 I could do for one class, but 40 for one class. If it ain't a seminar,
it goes towards a monthly fee if you decided to keep going.
If you decide to stay, it's kind of like mechanics do that all the time. Mechanics are like, "Oh, I'll charge you this much to check your car out." You decide to get it fixed here, it goes towards fixing your car. But if you don't, they're gonna keep the money.
Termite inspections too, same thing.
Really, they do that as well.
Yeah. That's what I did for mine. But so make sure you list the prices out. It just saves everyone's time. This is not like unless you decide to go the BJJ scheme, but. If you do that, you better have this. Better be your full-time job. You better be really good at marketing and sales and providing a good service and all that kind of stuff. You can't just like pull this one thing off and ignore the other aspects of it. So,
yeah. Well, I've been to there was a gym by my house. You and I drove by one time. I showed you. I was like, yeah, I wanted to go train there, but their website didn't have anything. So I stopped by there. Then I asked how much do they have a mat fee or anything? They're like, oh, well, just give me your phone number or give me your email address and I'll email you later. Like, no. I don't want to, I'm not giving you my information so you can just send me spam all the time asking if I'm going to show up or come.
Yeah. So to move on, we'll talk about contact information. Like you said, there's these things called web scrapers or crawlers, basically robots that go around scraping information on public websites.
Oh, you're not talking about the old system web crawler, are you?
It's the same thing.
Shows how old we are.
Yeah. So so basically create an email account. Don't put your personal phone number and email account onto the website.
Create a dummy account.
Like seriously, create a separate email and have a separate phone number for the dojo, because all these robots will basically find these emails and phone numbers online and then add it into like a spam call database and sell your information. And that's how you get spam phone calls. And our dojo gets spam phone calls, scam and spam phone calls all the time, because we use our website's our dojo's email on the website. And I don't put my personal email in there. That's like a big thing that a lot of people do by mistake, is that they put their personal information on there. But yeah, also another reason you want to do that, especially if you're running your dojo's not a small dojo, is what happens if you pass away or you're in a hospital, you're in a coma, then you need an email where multiple people can access it. You can't be the sole person that has access to the email, especially if all your accounts, like the Instagram, the Stripe, the payments, like everything is tied to that one email, then you better be sure you're not the only one that has access to it. So, yeah, that's another reason to have a separate email. And it also helps to have people answer emails for you, just in general. So there's that. So, okay.
Yeah,
so
it's one thing that when you get an email address, it just shows that it's more professional and stuff. And using a Gmail is fine. You know, I'm not sure if using a Hotmail still looks good nowadays, but I know lots of dojos that I'll go visit, they still have just a regular Gmail account and stuff. Us at Hollywood Judo, ours is, what is our email address, Anthony?
hollywoodjudo@gmail.com.
It is Gmail. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It is normal Gmail stuff. So yeah, it's okay to get a free one from there and stuff. You don't have to get a professional one or something special like Hollywood Judo at dojo.com. No, you don't have to pay for that or nothing. Just get a normal Judo website, not a Judo email address and stuff. And with phone numbers, I know some people get a little like, oh, I want to get another phone plan. I just sound terrible again, but get a burner phone. All right. Just get an easy month-to-month burner phone. All right. Go to Cricket, go to T-Mobile, go to whatever other burner accounts there are out there, you know, just get something separate. Cause again, you don't want people calling you at weird hours of the day and stuff. You can leave that phone at the dojo like we do and just check it when you're there. These are just little things that will help you grow your business and help you grow the judo.
Voice over IP is another problem. It's another thing. You can get like a virtual phone number that you use an app to pick up the phone call for, and then just like shut it off when you don't want it, or change it whenever you don't need to have two separate phones. It's just one phone, just separate virtual number. Okay, so with that, next thing would be get a proper domain name. Like I don't know what the current things people do now, but back in the day it's like angelfire.com/anthony0746/homepage.html. Like, do you remember the free websites that Google used to give out and stuff, that Google and Yahoo used to give you like a free web page? I don't know about Google and Yahoo, but I remember GeoCities and I used AngelFire. That's what I used. I know you brought that up. I was like, you remember the free one? I can't remember what free one they used to use, but I used to work for this martial art program called Martial Art for Kids. Martial, as in Marshall, and named Marshall because the guy that owned the program's named Marshall, so it was a martial art. And when I give people the address, they would always think that I'm giving them the wrong email address. I mean, the wrong website address. But you would go on there, and it's the most cheesiest thing. Even back then, it was so cheesy because it had these like weird ads on the side because it's free. They have the karate guy doing the kick back and forth and stuff, flashing like a light. But there's people actually making websites like that on purpose now because of the nostalgia that we get. Nostalgia of that stuff. God, that brings me back to those free websites that they would offer you. It's like, oh yeah, create an email address here. We give you a free website. Like, all right, why not? But yeah, again, it just, even if you use a free website, just buy a domain name. Like it's like $10, $15 a year for the whole year. And it just looks more professional. It looks more professional. It doesn't look like a scam website, you know, like, so like story basically one time someone linked me a website and I went to it and they got hijacked by a online casino website. It forwarded you to an online casino. I'm like, now I don't trust the dojo. Now you're like, oh, this dojo is like shady. That's what you would, an educated person who doesn't know anything about computers would think if they go to this website and links it to like a shady website. So
well, there was one time. There's one time that I'm gonna put it out like long time ago. Nanka for like a month or 2 months, their calendar page was not working. It would always come up as what number would it be? I can't remember what the number or what it was exactly, but it wouldn't work. And people were emailing Nanka like, "Hey, your calendar page is not working. I can't register for a tournament. I can't get the." Because I think you had to download the PDF to print it out to mail it to the dojo and stuff to time these tournaments. And people was telling the Nanka person like, "Hey, whoever's doing the website, like the page is not working," but they would go on their phone or computer like, click. Oh no, it's opening up fine. It's working fine for me. But they never checked outside. And that's one thing you have to do. You have to make sure your website looks well on the outside. So you can't just keep going to your homepage, your manager screen and stuff, and look at stuff. Sometimes you have to look from the outside to make sure it looks good. Check it on your phone or your tablet or your another computer, or don't log into it. Look at it. This is what I do sometimes to make sure stuff looks good. I'll just type in on the Google. I'll just type in like Hollywood Judo, and I'll look at how our stuff looks when they pop up right there to make sure it looks well. And that's what you have to do to make sure someone didn't hijack your stuff or take your stuff, because it might look great to you, but to other people, like I said, it might take you somewhere else.
Yep. Speaking of that, basically, when you buy the domain name, this kind of has to do with your dojo's name too. But when you buy the domain name, don't make it something really like hard to find. Like, I'm trying not to name any names, but it would be like if I named my dojo thejudodojo.com. Like, right? If I were to Google search the Judo Dojo, how many dojos do you think will pop up?
Well, here, what if I name my dojo? What if I name my dojo the USA Judo Dojo?
It's funny because it's actually Google actually knows I'm looking for Hollywood, but basically,
yeah, because we look at it all the time. That's why.
When I Google the Judo Dojo, all the dojo, if I use Google, it knows where I am because of my IP address. So it knows where I am, and it basically listed all the dojos that I'm that's around me, like San Gabriel, West Covina, Sawtell, Hollywood, Harbor, Long Beach Judo Dojo. So if you have like a dojo name that's basically sounds very generic or sounds really close to another word, then you might want to consider changing your judo name, or I don't know what a good workaround is, but basically at least make the website name different so people can find you.
Well, I will give this to us. One problem that we have here at Hollywood Judo is that we're Hollywood Judo. We've been around for 90 years. In the area also, we have Hollywood Pal Judo.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. So there's that. That's the problem, right? That's a problem.
Sometimes people get their website mixed with our website, and it actually happens a lot of tournaments sometimes. But we'll have people coming to us be like, "Oh, are you guys part of the police program?" It's like, no, we're not. You're looking for Hollywood Pal, which is over on Hollywood Boulevard. All right. Not over here. And vice versa. We'll get adults that go there first and be like, yeah, we're looking for Sensei Philippe. We're looking for these classes, but they said it wasn't there. Like, oh, no, we're here at Hollywood Judo. They're Hollywood Pal. They deal mostly with kids and teens. Our classes are kids, teens, and adults. So that happens as well.
But that's something you have to consider, just how it's what they call SEO, right? So you better have a good SEO game if you're going to do something like that. But if you don't know what SEO is, then just change your name, please. Like, it's not.
And it's not that hard to do a Google search, whatever you want to name your gym or whatever cool thing is clever. It's not that hard to do a Google search to see if that's out there already or in your area. All right.
All right. So, let's see what else. Oh, so along with the website name, what you have to do is purchase something called a SSL cert. It's if you ever loaded a website and it warns you, hey, warning, this website's not verified or secured. Are you sure you want to continue? That's because they don't have what they call a valid SSL cert. Basically, they can't verify that website is who they say they are. Like, there's this thing called man-in-the-middle attack. It's basically someone intercepts your traffic and basically pretends to be that website. So imagine you're trying to go on your bank's website, and this guy, and you send a a packet of information. So we'll be like, let's just say carrier pigeon, right? You're sending a carrier pigeon with your username and password to log into your bank account, and someone intercepts the carrier pigeon and pretends to be your bank. And they're like, "Hi, this is Bank of America with a mustache on." You know, like
Bank of America with a mustache. That's a fine mustache you've grown, Bank of America.
Yeah, so they intercept it and they pretend to be the bank, and then they send a message back. That's like a man in the middle attack. Someone intercepts the traffic in the middle and pretends to be who they are not. So the SSL cert prevents that from happening. So it's kind of like a trust. It's not 100%, but it's like a trusted chain of things where they're like, we verified this website is actually, this google.com is actually google.com. It's not some other person pretending to be google.com. Mm-hmm. So if I see that as someone who doesn't know any better, I would be like, wow, they're trying to hack my computer. Then again, the trustworthy thing, professionalism thing goes away. And on our Hollywood Judo website, some people might have noticed, and over the last year, we had that SSL cert expire a few times and our website went down. It will warn you saying it's an insecure website. The reasoning for that is I was using the free one. The free SSL cert expires every 90 days. So every 3 months it would expire and I had to renew it, which is a hassle. Mm-hmm. So what you can do is you can buy a year, you can pay for a year-long one or a 2-year one. Mm-hmm. But then obviously that will cost money. The other alternative is, we'll talk more about that later, is you use a web hosting service like Squarespace or whatever that hosts the websites for you. And Gymdesk has it too, is that they'll handle the SSL cert for you. You don't have to worry about it. So it's included and it's paid for. You don't have to worry about it. So that's the other option. But that's really important that your website has an SSL cert. And make sure when you connect to a website, it says HTTPS www.google.com, whatever. So that makes sure it's a secure website. But yeah, it's not that big of a deal if you're not logging in with username and passwords and stuff like that. Like for us, we have to have that because we do register people online and stuff. Mm-hmm. If you just have a website with information, it might not be that big of a deal, but it does look really unprofessional and unsafe if I get a big fat warning message. And some browsers will actually block you from visiting the website. Mm-hmm. You literally can't go to the website at all if you don't have a valid cert, and that's for safety reasons. So unless you know how to bypass it, there's some ways to bypass it, but your average person, your average soccer mom's not going to know how to do it.
It is very hard, tedious, and it's like, why am I doing this? This is BS. Yeah, I'll go to another site. And that's what people are going to do. They're going to see that and they're going to be like, well, I guess this website isn't working. It's not real. Maybe they closed or something. They're going to leave. They're not going to look at your site. And remember, again, I'm going to say this a lot during this episode. All this is to help you to advertise, to get people to your dojo, to get people into judo, to help grow the sport. All right. We're not just saying this to be like, oh, we're better than you. No, we're trying to help people out to know what they need to know. This is one thing this is what me and Anthony like. All right. This is what we're looking for and what we like to look at when we open up, when we look at a website and we're going to travel places.
Yeah. So before I continue, I'll probably mention it again, but if I offered this many times on Reddit, but nobody took me up on the offer, or they said, sure. And then they didn't respond. But, if you want me to review your website for you and give you some constructive criticism or critique, or you need help, I'm not going to manage it for you, but if you need help setting one up, I can help you with that. This is assuming I don't get like 200 people messaging me, obviously, but it's like, I'm assuming most people
I'm on vacation. Leave me alone.
I'm assuming most people are not going to ask me for help. So, but if you do need help making a website, let me know. I'm happy to do that for you. I'll talk about, the cost and options at the end, because right now we'll continue with this. So on to the next thing. I think you probably have a lot of opinions on this. We were talking about this earlier, but the importance of just having one website, or one, like if your website's the main thing, the main page where the main information is, make that the main page. Don't like go back and forth between Facebook, Instagram, and the website. Or don't have 2 Instagrams or 2 websites, right? So
yeah. Well, it's just one of those things where you have to figure out who's going to be your social media director or something. Someone that's in charge of all the social media. And it's maybe that same person in charge of the website also. For us, it's separate just because when I started doing this stuff, it was like no one wanted to do it. And I was like, you want to know what? No one wants to do it. Screw it. I'll do it. I don't mind doing it. It takes a little bit of my time every day, but I don't mind doing this. But the thing is that when you do this, you can't have duplicates because people are going to look at your duplicates and they're always going to look at the bad one. That's the thing. They're always going to look at the bad one.
It's going to be confusing too. And
the bad one's going to be the first one they see always. That's just how it works out. Because when I look at certain websites or I go looking for people's things, for some reason, the bad ones always comes up first. And then I'm like, what's up with their site? Why is there two of them? And some people are going to get discouraged. You're going to take that first impression and be like, oh, well, they don't look like they post a lot of stuff. Maybe they don't working out that much anymore. Maybe the dojo closed. Again, they're going to think that. Maybe it's closed. Maybe they're not working out as often as they used to. Okay. So this is where having your website and a social media presence is very important. And you got to narrow it down. So there's one Instagram, one Twitter, or not Twitter anymore, one X, one Threads, one Facebook, one website. Because you have multiples, they're not going to know which one to follow. And you got to make sure they all line up with each other as well. Your Facebook can't say one thing and your website says another. Okay. Your Instagram can't say one thing and then your Threads says another thing, even though they're connected. But this is where you got to really take the time to go through these things and post equally on all these things. And remember, the social media sites are supposed to be supplementary. Okay. What looks the worst, I know some people, again, when it comes to, I want to get a free site, I can't afford to spend the money on a website. So I'm just going to use a Facebook. I'm sorry. If you're over 40, it is still getting used. But for people younger than that, they don't use Facebook as much. I've seen a huge decrease in the traffic I get on our Facebook, where we get the most people.
We stopped spending ad money on Facebook too.
Yeah, we stopped spending ad money on there. I stopped that a long time ago because I see a lot more people interested in stuff on the Instagram. I've had people suggest to us that we should start a TikTok as well, but I just don't have the time for that right now. I'm not sure if and my things, U.S. legal things, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm going to answer my opinion. I think they should ban TikTok, but that's.
I'm not putting that website I'm not putting that thing on my phone. All right. You can take that for what you will and stuff. But yeah, it's just that these are social media info that people look at. And the worst thing is that when someone, and I've had this happen to me also, when I try to tag another dojo, like, hey, this dojo, we're going to do something with them. I'm going to tag them in some stuff. And I'll go at blah, blah, blah. And have like 3 different dojos of theirs pop up. Like,
which one's a real one? Yeah.
Which one's a real one and which one's the most popular one? Is it this one that has their actual symbol? Is it this one that has someone's face in it? Is this one the one that has their old symbol? Which is the one they use the most? And I have to like redo everything, have to go look it up and do the research and stuff. But it's just about making stuff easier for people to look at, And going back to the Facebook thing, Facebook should not be your website. That should not be your main page.
It should not be, but it could be if that's what you use. That's what you're going to
get a free website. Get a free website on Google.
Ideally, no. Yeah, I agree. Ideally, it should not be your website. But if you literally have no other options, whether it's money and you have no help, or that's the only thing you know how to use, then it's better than no website at all. Let's just agree.
I have no help. I'm trying to think like what's a really funny old website that people can use. MySpace. I'm going to use MySpace as my dojo's main page.
But
my Kazaa.
you could buy a domain name like hollywoodjudo.com and then forward it to the Facebook page too. Like you could have the hollywoodjudo.com forward to the Facebook page. That's fine. But like you said, there should only be one page. Like I was looking at I sent it to you earlier. There's this guy who had two Facebook pages, and one of them hasn't posted since 2015. So if I came across that old one, inactive one, and I was like, oh, they haven't posted since 2015, they're probably not there anymore, then you just lost the potential customer. Yes. So if you have multiple, just don't just, oh, we're only using this one now. And some people post a what do you call it? A posting. We go to this page now because we use this one now. Like, no, just close, like literally shut down, disable.
We have old one here now. Just close the damn page.
Shut it down. Shut the damn page down. So that's something you got to really make sure you do. And also, if you do decide to go to Facebook or Instagram as your main webpage route, make sure you post at least once a week on there. Just something like photos from class or classes canceled. Like, make sure it's active so people are like, oh, these guys are still alive and practicing. They're not like dead.
Post and post reels because people love reels. All right.
The algorithm loves reels. That's what they're trying to push for.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
So that's about keeping one single website. So let's move on to what not to put on your website. So
this is where less is more, everybody. Less is more when it comes to your website. Not your social medias. Social medias, just keep piling stuff on there for people to look at it. But your website, small and condensed.
I will call out our old website. I don't know who designed it. I think one of our old members paid someone else to do it, but you don't need to put the Nage no Kata on the website.
Well, no, this comes to the thing where when you have one of those one-page websites, you keep adding, I'm going to add this. I'm going to add this. And I'm going to add this. I'm going to add this. Next thing you know, you have I don't know how many, a 3-mile long one-page website.
Again, if you do add Nage no Kata, just put it on a separate page that you have to click through. Not on the main page or sharing it with the schedule or something like that, because no one's going to care. Like, I added the Google Analytics to our website recently, right? And I linked it to you. The most visited read parts of our website is the pricing, the schedule, and our instructors. Those are the 3 most clicked on pages. No one cared about our sponsors. No one cared about our history. No one cared about our tournament results.
That hurt me a lot.
Yeah. But I still put our tournament results on there because it's for tracking our tournament. So there's a value in that, but I'm not putting it along with everything else. But yeah, it just goes to show, like, anything outside of those things that we talked about earlier is kind of extra. So you got to think about, if I was interested in judo, I would just Google search judo on YouTube, or Google search judo. What is it? Go on Wikipedia, go on YouTube. I'm not going to go to your website to tell me what judo is. Like, and also most of the time people copy and paste Wikipedia stuff anyway onto their website. Just
the history of judo off Wikipedia, put it on
so
there. So
obviously you do want a small explanation saying, oh, judo is a Japanese Olympic sport, Japanese martial art originated in Japan, and it's an Olympic sport. Like, yes, like a short 1 paragraph thing is enough, but you don't want like a 10-page philosophical dissertation of Kano's thinkings on judo. Like, that's not what people are there on the website for, and just going to clutter up the website.
What are your thoughts on when people put their entire history of their dojo on there?
I think if you have that kind of history, like for example, Seattle Judo Dojo, they are like the oldest dojo in the nation, then like, you should be proud of your history and maybe make note of it. Like, but then if you're going to be like, oh, from 1904 to like 1925, this was the head sensei, and then he did this, he enacted these rules, he won these championships, then he got sick, and then this sensei from this timeline, like, when it starts sounding like a history book with timelines, and that's too much. But again, like a short one or 2 paragraphs saying Seattle Judo Dojo is the oldest judo dojo in the country. It was the first dojo to open in America. Jigoro Kano came over to visit once and train once, and this is the photo that we took. We try to instill the same traditions that people were teaching back then. Like, that's fine. Like, but then when you start listing a whole freaking detailed history, then it'll be like sitting in a lecture that nobody wants to be at. But that is
few people are going to read all that.
Very few people are going to read all that. But that short history, like, I'll be like, oh, cool. Like, for me, I was like, wow, Seattle Judo Dojo. When I went to Seattle last year, 2 years ago, last year, I was like, I want to go there. It's like the old first judo dojo. I want to go there. Like, I want to visit. So that is a selling point that you want to advertise in your dojo. But if you're like, hey, 2001, I begged the YMCA coordinator to let me open my own little club with puzzle mats. Like no one cares. No one really cares about that. So
we have to do an epic voice. In 2013, I went to the YMCA to open a judo dojo.
So that's that's for a YouTube video, like not for a website.
No, okay.
Yeah, so definitely history part's good, but if you start listing all these historical figures and old senseis, like yes, you want to pay tribute to them, but someone who's never done judo before has no idea who Jigoro Kano is. Most people don't know who he is. Has no idea who Yamashita is. Like, there's really, or if you say like Shohei Ono once trained at our club, like maybe you want to put that on there, like because other people coming to visit cross train might find value in that. But if you're trying to sell your club as like to your common soccer mom, they're not going to know who the hell all these people are or the past senseis or anything. So that's something that you want to find a good balance of. Like, yes, you want to put our history. What a mission statement is probably something that that's something we can gloss over right now. The mission statement is something every dojo should have, like what the goal of your dojo is. And that, again, should give off the vibe of what kind of culture your dojo has.
To kick ass and take names. That a good one?
Yeah, so talk about history, talk about like putting Nage no Kata techniques on there. What else should there not be on there? Let's talk about the schedule. I mean,
want to talk about schedule now? All right.
Yeah. Some places don't have a set schedule, so they don't even put it on there. But yeah, I think it's good to have like a calendar view of some sort. Mm-hmm. Like if you only have class twice a week, just put you have class twice a week and the times, and then list out the days that you're not open afterwards. So I think that's much easier than listing every single day that you have class. But
well, if you have regular classes like Monday through Saturday or something, and it's a set schedule that rarely changes, just doing that Monday through Saturday, like that little banner that a lot of places do, and having what time the classes are, I think is good. But if you're a place that you're not there all the time, it's a weird, like, oh, we might be here 2 days, might 3 days. I don't know how your system might work. Then yeah, maybe having a full calendar of the month so people know what days you're open and closed is good. But you don't need to put every day a calendar and then every day your Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday schedule up every day for people to see. Like I said, when we first changed our schedule, I was putting up our schedule on Instagram every day so people could understand, be like, okay, the first thing they see, okay, there's kids class today and adults class. Okay, there's kids intermediate class today, there are adults beginners today. So people can see it. But you don't need to just have it repeated every day on the calendar for someone to see. If it's the same thing, Monday through Saturday, Monday through Friday, just keep it up on that one thing. Neat, clean, short, and precise.
Yeah, that's there's some websites use a Google Calendar, the widget, and then put the Google Calendar on it. It's pretty hard to use. I'm not a fan of that. Just navigating is really confusing. It's because it's listing out all the days that you don't have class too. So if you're using some sort of calendar widget, just make sure it includes only the days that you have class. I think one of the hacks that I like is I shouldn't call it a hack, but people use Excel spreadsheet, fill in the colors and makes it nice and pretty, and then take a screenshot of that as a calendar. So making a condensed calendar on I'm trying to think of a good example without naming names, but I guess it's hard. But basically, use the Excel spreadsheet to make a condensed calendar where you close out the times that you don't have class, so you don't have a giant block of just like white space because you don't have class during that time. So you can condense it, and on the side you say from this time to this time is this class. So using that is a good little trick to make a good schedule. Let's see what else. Blog posts. What do you think about that? We don't have that. Yeah.
No, because And this is again from my experience when I would do a more bigger blog post on again, just go back to Facebook and back when Twitter was a thing, or back when I used to. That's one reason I don't use Twitter or X that much for Hollywood, because I saw very little, if any, interaction for us on there. And when I would put posts on there that are mostly just text, they just don't do that well. Judo's a visual sport. People want to see throws. People want to watch videos of throws. People want to see things. And I think it's just the way things are going in life, is that people are more visually stimulated now. So they want to see stuff. They want to post with a
no
picture.
One's going to read the blogs.
Yeah. And that's my thing with blogs. And what are you going to do? Judo Sensei blog 020 blah, blah. Today we worked on Tayatoshi. What are you going to do?
No, sometimes people, like I see this on Facebook from mostly older senseis. They put their philosophical writings down, which I think it's fine. Like, I'm not going to say don't. I'm not going to say don't do it. As again, if you have its own section, then it's good. But
that again, that's something
I expect people to read it.
Yeah, well, that's my thing. I would put that personally. I would put that on the Facebook definitely, because that's more of a social media thing. I wouldn't put that on the website. That's just, again, taking something away there, because that has no big purpose right there. That's more of interaction for your students and people to get to know you better. That should be on your Facebook, or type it out, create a how would you call it? A graphic thing of it, and put it on your Instagram, or put it on your X, or put it on your Threads. That's something there I think would work better. That I don't think should go on your that I don't think should go on your website personally.
Okay. So back to what we shouldn't put on there. This is a little hard, a little tricky. What do you think about sponsors?
I think you should put sponsors there. They should be at the bottom of the page, just as, because that's the commercial, not commercial. That's just the standard way of doing it nowadays. But you have to, if you are being sponsored somebody, you should put it on there. You need to put it on the page.
So I think it depends on what your agreement is, right? Like a lot of places, they say, hey, we'll pay you this much, but you have to put us on your front page or at the top or whatever. And then you got to follow that. But otherwise, I agree, at the bottom, or have a separate page for sponsors. I think that's the best. Like, that's what I did for our own website. It's
nice. It does look nice and stuff. My thing is having a separate page. How many people are going to search like, oh, they're sponsored. Who are they sponsored by? And click on that to see who they are.
Not many.
Yeah.
But
well, I know like years ago when we got our, I think it was these mats, actually the ones that are behind.
It's kind of like sending a thank you card, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we got these mats right here, we got a good deal on them. And the seller said, okay, well, when we get these mats, install them, please take a photo of the mats themselves and you guys practicing on them, and put it on your social media. Mats by blah, blah, who we got them from. But the first ones we got were actually really bad. We had to send them back, and they resend them. They fixed our order, and then we did have to post for the free advertising for them. But that's another thing sometimes that you might have to post. Like, if you get a good deal from someone, you can post it on your Facebook and Instagram, so we can look and be like, oh, they have these type of mats there. They have these type of throwing dummies, these type of crash pads. Again, to show people what you have and what you got. To promote judo. So
I think that does that pretty much sum up what not to put on there. Let's talk about instructors. Like, I think it's really important to have an instructor's page, at least the head instructor at the very minimum. You don't have to put the assistant instructors, but I think it kind of helps the especially if you're not paying your assistant instructors. It's kind of like, again, a thank you card to put them on their website. But there's a lot of websites where I feel like they just post a list of names of all their black belts. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're helping out or not, or if they help out like once a week or once a month or whatever, or like, I'm not going to name which ones. There's some dojos, they literally have one page where there's like 50 names on it. I've seen like 50 names on it.
50 names.
Yeah, it's basically listing all their black belts.
Okay.
Whether they still train there or not. So I think that's a little too much. It's kind of, again, it comes off as like, how many students are there? There's more instructors than students. Like, so
every student gets an instructor.
Yeah. If you're going to list instructors, I think at least they should have a short profile, a picture, just so you know what they look like, and they run a class, and then you can see like, oh, he started judo this time and he has these accolades. If you have accolades, don't So if you have accolades like Sensei Philippe does, like definitely show it off. Like even if it's like US national champion, like I mean, I personally am not impressed by it, but to someone that's like never done judo before.
Such a sometimes.
So to someone who's never done judo before, it's like, oh wow, he's national champion. Like that might mean something, right? But don't do what some people do, which is like, oh man, trying to not make it obvious who we're talking about. But
who are you talking about? I don't know.
People who are like European champion, and then they put European champion, or like saying they were world champion, but they don't say like it was like in like certain age bracket. Or
here's a funny story. Back when I used to work at a market, I'm not going to say what kind of market, because if you listen to podcasts before, you know what kind of market I worked at before during a time. I worked at a market. There was a salesman there. Well, all the people at the market knew I did judo. Okay. Because I needed certain days off work by a certain time to go practice. And they were impressed with that, because at the time I was still a brown belt, I believe. They were like really impressed with that I did judo. It was really big in there. They liked that. I thought it was really cool. Their salesman came from a company that turned out to be a black belt also. And they thought, oh, Juan, you're a brown belt. He's a black belt. You guys get along. And everybody was very impressed by him, because he was a national champion back home. He was a national champion. And all they said was that he was a national champion. I was like, oh, wow. And me being the guy I am, I thought that he was an adult national champion, a senior national champion in his 20s or something. Maybe in college, he won nationals, and maybe he was on the national team. It wasn't until that person started coaching and got their own dojo that I found out at one of the Nanka meetings when he did his hello everybody, I'm so and so, that he was a junior national champion. Not saying he's not a bad player. He's a great player. He has great students and stuff, doing fantastic for himself. But it's just one of those things where people just hear national champion, they assume that you were senior national champion. A lot of people don't think of, oh, was he a junior national champion? Was he a cadet national champion? Like, what was he? So it is funny when people will say they give that thing as a national champion, but they don't say what age. I know, like on our site, you put down that I'm a Masters national champion at Winter Nationals and stuff, which is funny, but it's the truth. It is the truth. I'm not trying to lie here. We're not trying to boast our accolades, but that helps out sometimes, you know? Like Anthony says, to some people, they don't find that impressive, but to other people, they do.
Yeah. It's funny because the person I was thinking of, I just looked at the website and they updated it. So,
so they added more championships to it?
No, they basically clarified all the championships for all junior and cadet level. So yeah,
it's probably because people started knowing, more and more people are knowing and like seeing what happens. So I fix this.
I just looked at it and it's more clear now. But basically, don't stretch the truth is what I'm saying when it comes to stuff like that. Because
you're going to get crazy people like Anthony that are search hounds and will find out. They will find you.
Yeah. So it'll just make you look dumb if you do that. But yeah, list out, I mean, junior national champion, cadet champion, that's impressive too.
Still impressive.
World champion, especially world champion. But yeah, there's no reason to, you turn something that was good and make it bad if you're gonna like just say, oh, I was like world champion or junior champion, and not say it was cadet or junior, because it's still impressive. But then the fact that I don't want to say lie, but the fact that you didn't clarify it makes
they're
it
not lying. Yeah. They're just not going to details. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, never mind. Let's not continue down that path. Yeah. So I think that pretty much covers all the stuff. So now we're talking to options, right? So where can I host a website? Like we already mentioned, if you really have no option, it should be your last option, basically. Then yes, use Facebook or Instagram. But there's a lot of free tools out there that, like, even like, what was the one that all the Instagram people use now, like beacons.ai and like Linktree, like the kind of stuff that just links to all your social media, and it gives you a little section where you can type in some text. That section you can type in like, hey, we train at this high school Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 to 8:30. And here's our contact information.
Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X. There's all your.
That's a website, right? So that's an option. That's free. And then not as professional, but still looks legit, right? It makes it attractive to the younger crowd. And it's easy to access. That's an option. That's a free option. There's free website builders out there, but for most people out there who aren't technically inclined, I would suggest you use Squarespace, like some sort of website building service out there. Squarespace is like one's. We should get sponsored by Squarespace, by the way. Everyone gets sponsored by Squarespace. Why are we not sponsored by Squarespace?
Oh, you finally want to get a sponsor. You're finally not going to talk shit about somebody and make us lose a sponsorship.
We don't. Again, this is not an average. We don't get sponsored by Squarespace, just to clarify.
We don't get sponsored by anybody, all right?
Yeah, but Squarespace is a good one-stop shop. They handle the certs. They handle the domain name. You can get the domain name through them. They have a website builder. They have templates. You can add a shopping cart. So if you want to sell merch, like t-shirts and hoodies and gis online, you can do that and take payments online. So all that stuff's on there. Other option we mentioned, Gym Desk. The guy who runs Gym Desk is active on the BJJ subreddit, I think I remember. It was called Martial Arts on Rails before, but he's a martial artist himself. So he understands what people like that need. So if you need a membership management system and a website, then yeah, Gym Desk is good. What else is there? Oh, if you need a free option, like, which is what I do for my personal website, is there's these things called static websites. So if you can go on to if you gotta understand, I'm not going to translate the technical term. So you got to go on GitHub or GitLab and create a GitHub or GitLab pages. And you basically just put in this static files and it'll generate a website for you. And that's free. So there's not going to be a dynamic website. It'll just be a website that has a template and then you can see everything. But that's free. And all you have to do is pay for the SSL cert and the domain name. So that comes at like $15 to $20 a year, depending on the domain name.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It's really cheap.
It's really cheap. So there's really no excuse for that. $15, $20 a year. What was that come out for a month?
That's like
less than $2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's like that's just one meal. Oh man, I don't go out to eat tonight. I got to pay for my website. Woohoo.
Yeah. So I own multiple websites because of how cheap it is. And I use it for personal stuff. But yeah, some of them cost more. Like the
fans.
Some of them cost more. So I think the .io domain name is really popular amongst developers. That's $30 a year. When I looked at it, I was like, crap, that's cost so much. But I bought it anyway because I want it.
I wanted it.
Yeah, I contemplated for a while, but I use it for my work stuff. So yeah, so again, there's many options out there. Use Squarespace if you want. There's also another one. I can't remember what it was. See, Squarespace.
Is anybody still using GoDaddy? I know we were for a little while.
We were using GoDaddy. I don't. That's another reason we migrated our website is because I want to move off GoDaddy. They're a pretty bad company.
Are they?
I'm not going to get into it, but
we lost another sponsor. Shopify,
WordPress, and Wix. But honestly, I think Squarespace is the best out of all of them. The interface is easy to use, good customer support. So, yeah. Again, if you need help setting a static web page, I'm happy to do that for you. It'll be very. I'm not going to like quote unquote do it for you. I'm going to like walk you through it so you can manage it yourself. So, but it's really easy to do the static website. But yeah, got to be a little willing to get your hands dirty and get a bit technical. So,
and again, all this stuff we're talking about today, it's just our opinions. But these are things that we do and that we use to help out our dojo. And our dojo has grown immensely since we started doing a lot of this stuff. When I first started doing just a Facebook, we got a lot of members going that way. Once I started using Instagram, got more that way. It's just being more integrate with people. And since we changed our website over from the old version to the new version, we've even gotten more people because it's easier to sign up now. And it's made things easier for, like I said, Anthony and myself to sign people up. Because before it'd be like, okay, I got to make sure the Dojo tablet has Wi-Fi. Oh, shoot. Okay, the Wi-Fi is not working. All right. I'm going to give you my phone to sign up on. Please do not do anything on there. But now it's just like, okay, well, here's our website. Just go to hollywoodjudo.com. And I'll show them where to go. I show them, like, go to the drop-down menu, click this red button, sign up right there. Once you're all done, I'll look you up on my phone here. And if everything's good, then you're good to get on the mat. It makes things so much easier now.
Yep. There's one other thing I forgot to mention that I want to talk about that some older people might not understand, but how do I bring this up? Well, but it sounded bad. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but a lot of younger generations have anxiety, but they're trying, like, I'm sure a lot of people see this when people walk through, they are unsure whether they want to sign up, and they're trying to push themselves out of the comfort zone. So you're going to see people online on Reddit talk about it a lot too. It's like, I'm out of shape. I want to pick up a martial art, and which one should I do? And then do online searches, and having a really easy to go to website, and again, giving off that friendly culture vibe and atmosphere, and having an online sign up, which is why we saw a surge of signups recently, I think, helps people get through that mental barrier of showing up and talking to someone in person. They're like, I know plenty of kids nowadays, for example, are too nervous to call to make a doctor's appointment, or too nervous to call and order food delivery. That's why food delivery apps and online appointment systems are so popular, because they don't have to deal with the social interaction. I don't know. I don't know what is up with kids nowadays, but that's the reality of it. But a lot of people are growing up with that kind of anxiety. So having an online website sign up, or even a contact form, if you don't have that sign up capability, then just have something that's easy to send an email to, and respond to, that will help them get over that initial hurdle of getting into the dojo, putting on a gi, and trying out judo for the first time. And hopefully they'll stick around. So this is all part of that process, I think. So,
and these things will help your dojo grow. Trust me. You might be like, oh, I don't need that. We don't need to do all this. No, you need to nowadays. You really do. You're not going to get many walk-ups anymore. Everyone's going to check something else, going to check up stuff online first. And this also goes for, I didn't mention this at all, but even your Google search information. Like, someone goes on Google, look for dojo, make sure you have good photos there as well. Make sure that information is correct. Your phone number there is correct. Your email address there is correct. Your website address there is correct.
We mentioned this in a previous episode. Like, the number one place that people found this on was Google Maps. I think we talked about with Jonah. Google Maps is like Google and Google Maps, the two biggest things. So that's make sure.
Back in the day, 16 years ago, when I first started doing Judo Hollywood, that's where I found Hollywood first. I looked up judo dojos near me. Hollywood was right there, so I looked them up. Yeah,
so a good thing to do is go on right now. If you're listening to this episode and you run a dojo, just go on Google Maps and type in your dojo's name. Does it go directly to the dojo? Like, that's one. And then once you go there, does it have photos? Does it have any reviews? Like, make sure you make sure that's all of there. The contact information, the hours, the website link should all be on Google Maps. If it's not, then you better claim it and start adding that information.
Yeah, I know Yelp was the big one for a long time, but I know a lot of people aren't using Yelp anymore now because you don't trust.
Because they're scummy. They're scummy. That's why.
God damn, another sponsor gone, Anthony. But yeah, a lot of people don't use Yelp anymore. They don't trust it. So what do people trust? They trust Google.
Yeah, because people only go on Yelp to write negative reviews if they're had a bad experience or they're upset about something. No one makes it. Not many people make an effort to go write a positive review. So, but other than just going on Google Maps and typing in your dojo name, for example, you want to see if I live in like Los Angeles or whatever, Koreatown, right? So I want to be able to go to Google Maps, go to Koreatown, and then hit nearby and type in Judo. Like, what's nearby? Judo. And then I should be able to see my dojo pop up. That's when you know it's easy to find. But some of these people I talked to before, I type in their judo name, their dojo's name, doesn't pop up. There's no website, there's no location, or points to a guy's house. So, like, which is fine. But again, I'm not inclined to go show up to a guy's house to train for my first judo session. Sorry. So,
yeah, there was a time because of the SAG strike and stuff, I'm working with my pops a lot more. So I'll be out in Thousand Oaks a lot, and I want to do some training. And there's only one dojo near that area. And when I went to visit that dojo the first time, they're like, "Oh, wow, how'd you find us?" And I was like, "Well, I found your website and I found your time and dates after I dig through everything." They're like, "Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to find right there, but hey, it is what it is." I'm like, "Doesn't have to be that way."
Yeah. I mean, if it is in your house, at least put up photos of your mat space and training. Like, what was this, Chris Hodder, the BJJ guy? He teaches out of his. I mean, he's famous, so he has that going. But he has photos of his garage training place, and it looks chill. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of vibe he was going for. So, I'd like to train there. So, I'm losing my voice. So, do you have anything else?
No, I'm done. I think we went through a lot of stuff. I didn't think we were going to go through this much stuff. I'm sorry. I know this might be a little dense episode. I know this episode's not going to be for everyone, but we just want to get this stuff out there for people to know. You know, I get we talk about this, that a lot of people say that they're not getting students, they're not getting new people. Well, you got to look at how your advertisement, how people are seeing you. And one of the biggest ways is a website. You know, you got to have that website. You can have that social media foot out there, you get people looking at you, but you got to have a website that has all your information easy, direct to look at, nice and clean to look at.
By the way, I'm mentioning again, the Squarespace stuff and the website template stuff, like they're all responsive. They'll automatically look right on a cell phone. So if you build your own website, it might not necessarily look right on a cell phone. So,
all right. So with that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our social media stuff. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. That's something we didn't talk about with the YouTube channel, but that could be for another episode for another day, perhaps. You can follow me at @GRA_Juan. You can follow Anthony Throws. Oh, and you can follow us on Threads as well, even though I know that social media site isn't doing that well right now. But hey, we're still there. We're there, all right? And if you want to send us any emails, tell us about what your experiences is with your websites and advertisement. You send us that at tatamitalk@gmail.com. God, this is a lot to remember some days. So Anthony, is there anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right. So with that, wish Anthony a good time on his trip to Japan. And don't forget to
slap the mat.
No, make a website.
Or make a website. Yeah, make a website.